Hello, welcome to Around Town with Rotary. My name is Michael Harrington. I'm here with representing the Beverly Rotary Club, and this is the official TV show of the Beverly Rotary Club. And the Beverly Rotary Club has been around for over 100 years now. We have over 100 members, men and women from all different backgrounds that get together on a regular basis to do great work in the community and create great fellowship. So welcome to our show here today. I'd like to, first of all, introduce my co-host here, Al Temkin. Al, take it away.
Well, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Good to see you. And it is really a pleasure for me and an honor to introduce my friend and fellow Rotarian at this point, Ellen Hanley. Ellen's family has been very involved in Rotary for many, many years, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But thank you for joining us today, Ellen. Really appreciate it. It is our pleasure, absolutely. So before we get into, your career stuff and your Rotary work and all of the reasons why you've done all that, let's kind of go back a little bit. Let's talk about your background. Where did you grow up? Where did you graduate high school from? What were some of your thoughts and dreams at that stage of your life?
Awesome. Well, thank you again for having me. I grew up right here in Beverly on Prospect Hill in what I affectionately call sort of a Hallmark neighborhood. Kids out on bikes, playing manhunt at night. I have two younger sisters, and they are now scattered, although one's returning to Beverly shortly. The other lives in Paris. And our childhood was a lot of travel and studying hard to be successful. Education is really important in our family, and really just a joyful upbringing. I went to St. Mary's Star of the Sea School, no longer there, but still really fond memories, and then spent 1 year at Memorial Middle School, now Beverly Middle School, in 8th grade. I went to Bishop Fenwick High School, loved it there. What a cool spot. So I sort of joke and say, although I'm a townie, I'm the least townie. Everyone plays that name game. Oh, you're from Beverly, do you know so-and-so? I'm like, I didn't go to Beverly High. And then off to UMass Amherst after that.
Terrific. And so when you went off to Amherst, what was your thought? What were you thinking about what kind of degree were you looking at? What was your thought process relative to a career?
I assumed I would become a lawyer. Both of my parents are attorneys. They had their own law firms since '92 in Beverly. So it just sort of made sense that I would go get my undergraduate degree in English, and then go on to law school. The economy had other plans. In 2009, I think there was an 18% employment rate coming out of UMass Amherst, and it scared the daylights out of me. And so my plan B was to go be a nurse, because back in 2009, that was the fastest growing field that you could get into. So I wanted to do that. So I took all my nursing prerequisites and had that plan, and then cut to senior year, went to a job fair, and ended up getting a really awesome opportunity in retail at Kohl's Department Stores as a store manager.
Right, and that's taken you to
a totally different road.
I mean, I know you've done extremely well and have a big title, but you're not the CEO of Kohl's. I do know that.
I am not. No, my path took me a different way. I worked retail for 5 years, loved it. Hats off to anybody who's ever worked in retail. I mean, boy, that is like boot camp for business. Right. And it was great to be in my early 20s and really learning the ropes on people, merchandising, cash flow, freight flow, everything under the sun was part of my responsibility. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot, but it was really great. Around 25, I figured out, hey, I think I'm done working Saturday overnights. I put in my 90 hours a week, about as long as I want to. And I was recruited to Bank of America. And honestly, I thought it was great. Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, bank holidays. This is awesome. Wasn't really considering the fact that I had no experience in financial services, no background in math, and sort of got into the role and thought, I really hope nobody figures out I'm not supposed to be here.
Well, that's a great segue to kind of where you are now.
Yeah.
Can you tell all our viewers at home, what's your current title? What are your responsibilities, and how did you kind of arrive at that spot?
Absolutely. My technical title is Vice President Market Leader for Fidelity Investments.
Yep.
My team is based out of Merrimack, New Hampshire, Smithfield, Rhode Island, and I lead 8 branches, effectively, that have financial advisors and the folks that support those advisors. So people that talk to our clients and help them achieve their financial goals.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And were there other positions at Fidelity you held prior to that, or what was kind of the trajectory to get there?
Absolutely. I joined Fidelity in November of 2021. I joined as a what they call a mid-level leader. So it's a VP level leader. You've got leaders that work under you, and the team that I was leading up at that time helped people with their retirement accounts specifically. So a lot of Fidelity's clients come to Fidelity through a 401k through their employer. And so if you needed help with that 401k, figuring that out, you would call someone on my team.
Oh, great, great. And what do you like about Fidelity? What's the culture like over there? What are some things you like about your job that maybe kind of get you energized to go there every day?
I know this sounds cheesy, but everything. I love what I do. I love the team that I lead. I love the company that I'm in. Fidelity's private, which I think is a big advantage for the way that we can show up for our clients and the decisions that we can make in the company, the investment in the future, and genuinely putting the client first. I know a lot of companies say that, but feeling that every single day just makes the noble work more fun. And then everything else stacks on top of that. And everything we do is really about the people that work there and the clients that we serve. And so what's not to love?
Well, that's awesome. I work with professionals all day from different companies, and you hear more and more stories about, not so great cultures and companies that don't do it the right way. So I'm really pleased to hear that Fidelity does it a great way, and you feel good about where you go every day.
Absolutely.
And what are some of your thoughts about the future in your industry? Do you see more of upwardly mobility situations available at Fidelity, or is it could other things be in the works?
Yes, I am incredibly ambitious. I see so many opportunities at Fidelity in life. I've had the joy of being able to go retail to banking to investing in the workplace side to investing in the personal side. I've had the pleasure of expanding my network exponentially over just 3 years. So sky's the limit, but Fidelity is a company that prioritizes mobility and specifically cross-functional mobility. People who lead the company have worked in many, many different parts of it. So you get a really robust and expert leadership team.
Awesome.
Well, it's interesting, too, and I just want to add, having come from the financial services industry for almost 50 years, I did a lot of work with Fidelity. And you're right, they are very client-centric. They certainly know what they're doing. I think they're the biggest in the world, or certainly close to the biggest in the world. So good for you, great for them to have you, because I'm sure you're a great team member. So, we kind of started with your, where you came from in the high school and all that stuff. We've gone to your career and your college. So I happen to know a little bit and kind of what's going on personally. Anything exciting coming up or anything?
Yeah, I have one big exciting thing coming up. In addition to my usual travel, I'm also traveling to the Azores next summer to get married to my wonderful fiance, Joe. He is from Peabody. We have been together for 12 years now, and he's just an amazing human being. So we're so excited to have a family wedding in the Azores, and then we'll have a nice big party here so everyone can celebrate with us.
And we would be
incredible.
happy to do so.
Oh, you will be on the list.
I better be on that list. And Joe is a great guy. You two will make a beautiful, beautiful couple.
Thank you.
So speaking about Azores, and I know you've done a lot of traveling, and I know your family very well, so I know travel is a big part of your life. Tell us a little bit about some of the places that you visited, and maybe share a couple of thoughts or a couple of stories about some things that kind of are in your mind.
Oh, yeah. So we spent a lot of my childhood summers doing big international trips. I jokingly say we've never been to Disney, which we haven't. I'm almost 40 years old. I've never been to Disney. It's often my icebreaker, fun fact. People can't believe it. But we would do 2 weeks in Greece instead. And frankly, people think that's a huge deal, but it costs about the same as a week in Disney. So we did Ireland, Italy, Greece. Last summer we went to Bodrum as a party of 9.
Bodrum? What's Bodrum?
Bodrum, Turkey.
Oh.
So it's near the Greek islands. So it's sort of that border of Greece. It's right on the water. It's absolutely stunning. And my dad spent a lot of time there growing up. So this is his favorite place. And so we try to get these trips going every couple years, even as an adult family. And I love to travel. I was in Colombia earlier this year. I'm going to Rio de Janeiro next January.
Nice. Good for you.
But the things that have really stood out to me, I think it's family-wise, it's the trips that we took with my grandparents. So we did a summer in Greece, and both of my grandparents were there. And gosh, there was a funny time when they let us daughters. I think I was 16. I think my sister was 13. Run free down in Heraklion for a night. And it was so funny when my dad and grandfather showed up to pick us up, and the guys we're talking to think we're 18,
right,
and
right.
the parents swarm in. So those memories are just really special to me.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, right? Just kind of building memories. Right? Good for
So many great adventures. Hey, let's just touch quickly on Rotary. You come from a Rotary family.
I
Your
do.
dad's been a Rotary for a long time. He's a past president of Rotary. How long have you been a Rotary, and how were you introduced to it recently?
Well, I mean, there's two answers, I think. I've been in Rotary officially for 3 months, but I was on the Rotary softball team many, many years ago, probably 10
okay.
years ago or more. So I think I've been in Rotary forever, but officially I've been in Rotary since March. I love what Rotary does specifically in Beverly. I look at this place, this town that I grew up in, chose to put roots down in, and I think if you're gonna be here, you should be among the movers and the shakers of the city, the people that care about the vitality of the city, that want to do well for the folks around us. If you're going to be here, be in the best position possible. And to me, that's what Rotary is all about. It's about not the network in the traditional sense, but the camaraderie. We had the installation the other night. The way that folks talked about it really being friends and family. And there's always someone there who's willing to raise their hand and say, I'll help out. Like, that's what a community is all about. And it's hard to find that in today's world. So the fact that we have this amazing city and this amazing opportunity, I feel lucky to be part of it. Service is also really important to me. I've been really blessed, and it's only right to pay that forward. And I see Rotary as sort of this flywheel. What you put in, you get out 5 times more in terms of the ability for you to make an impact, because everybody's, many hands make light work. And so I just think that's really special and unique.
Well, that's terrific. Rotary does do a lot of great things, and that's a great opportunity to take a break here at this hour. Folks at home, why don't you take the next 2 minutes and watch a really cool short video that we prepared that talks a little bit about the people of Rotary, some of the projects. I think you might be surprised at some of the really cool things we get involved in, and we'll see you back on the other side. Thanks.
We raise a lot of money for Beverly organizations.
And they bought us our refrigerated van.
They made a significant contribution to the restoration of Ellis Square.
They helped us house a family experiencing homelessness.
They bought us our bookmobile.
They were actually the first ones to donate instruments to the high school band.
They bought oxygen masks for our rescue dogs.
They helped buy our school bus.
They fund the annual Bradgate Ice Cream Social at Lynch Park every summer, and they even scoop the ice cream.
Since 2014, they've supported the Cabot, funding preservation of this historic gem.
They helped to fund the Council on Aging van.
They were a major donor to our new infant toddler playground.
They bought an emergency generator for Harbor Lighthouse.
We funded and built the gazebo.
And we've got a green thumb.
A lot of green thumbs.
A lot of green thumbs.
Not to mention sculptures.
We planted more than 100 trees last year.
They donated a shuttle bus stop that brings veterans to the VA hospital in Bedford.
We're going to buy a water drone to clean plastics out of Beverly Harbor.
They make a big difference for United Way.
We give up to 8 scholarships.
8 scholarships every year since the mid-1980s.
And I was a recipient, and thanks to their help, I was the first in my family to go to college.
It's more than just a local organization.
There are 33,000 clubs
in 200 countries with 1.2 million members worldwide.
All that good adds up.
Those do-gooders just keep doing good.
We funded 13 wells in Kisumu, Kenya, bringing water to 13 schools.
We contributed to Kalusha School in Pakistan, and later to the construction of a fabulous women's college.
Hi, I'm Izzy Polito. I'm Mirabella Polito. I'm Andrea Polito. And we're all youth exchange students.
We started the youth exchange program 13 years ago, partly because I was also an exchange student in 1979.
I'm Aku. I'm from Finland. They hosted me as exchange student.
We funded Dr. Gordon Sato of Hamilton, who devised a way to grow trees in salt water in Senegal, Mauritania, and Eritrea.
Our club has funded at least 20 life-changing surgeries around the world.
And we've participated as non-medical volunteers
in the Philippines,
in Bolivia,
and Venezuela.
And remember,
since launching the Polio Plus campaign over 30 years ago, the number of polio cases worldwide has dropped 99%.
In 2019, clubs in the district joined the Polar Plunge to eradicate polio. The clubs raised $90,000.
Can we get back to Beverly, please?
Over the past 10 years, we've raised, probably about $100,000. Try $400,000.
Over the past 10 years, we've raised over $1 million.
I have made some wonderful friends.
It's downright inspiring.
It's an important part of my week.
It's a very important part of my week.
Sometimes it's the best part of my week.
It's one of the best things I do.
Even if people still ask about the secret handshake.
Welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the video. I just do want to add, you were just talking about how Rotary is such a friendly organization and giving back to the community. I think it's important to mention that Dad, Marshall Hanley, was president of our club during COVID. He led us during the most difficult time our club has ever seen, hopefully will ever see, and we had an extremely successful year that year because of his leadership. And I think that's important to not forget that. So, so thank you for mentioning that. I also am not sure that I would mention, if I were you, that you were part of the softball team, because the Rotary softball team sucks. And I think that it's something that, just for future reference, if it comes up, it comes up down the road.
Yeah, well, it's not about wins and losses. It's about camaraderie.
Oh, is that what it is?
Fellowship.
Oh, I guess I missed that point.
Yeah,
okay. Tell us about people other than family that you admire. Some of the women in the world and leaders and that type of people that kind of driving you.
I thought a lot about this question specifically, and I think that most of the women that have inspired me in my life are closest to me, because what inspires me isn't the output, it's the process. Because the process you can mirror, process you can emulate. You can't always emulate the output because the factors are so different. But when I zoomed out a little bit and thought, okay, but who are some of the sort of notable women that have really inspired me? Two jumped out to me right away. One was Oprah, for her ability to tell stories in a way that captivates and moves people. I mean, I've seen her live twice, and both times I've been emotional in the way that she weaves a narrative. It's really incredible. And there was a time people calling for Oprah to run for president, not because of any political ability, but because of her communication skills. That level of communicating is masterful. The second one that jumped out to me was Jacinda Ardern, the former Prime Minister of New Zealand. She also navigated her country through an unprecedented COVID time, and she did it in a way that no one had ever seen before. Incredible humility. She had her kids on camera. She cried with her nation. She did the things that you don't usually see world leaders do, and I don't have the stats, but New Zealand came through the pandemic pretty strong. And it was a lot, I think a lot of it is attributed to her strong, vulnerable, candid, and camaraderie-based leadership.
Wow, those are some big names there, big names. Although we do have a history in this country of electing people to office that can talk well, and that's where it ends. But we're not going to go into that right at this point. Tell me, if you would, I'm very confused, and I have no idea what this is. Imposter syndrome. What is that?
Well, I'm not surprised you don't know what it is, Al, because you aren't an imposter, so you've never had this problem. But a lot of people in every industry, in every demographic, age, experience, have what people call imposter syndrome. And it's this feeling that someone's going to figure out you don't belong there. Someone's going to figure out you're not as smart as everybody else, or you don't have the same credentials as everybody else. And I have experienced this many times. I was sharing when I went to Bank of America, I thought, oh gosh, someone's going to figure me out. I had it later in my graduate school program because I was surrounded by such bright people. And over the course of my career, I feel like I'm starting to solve this problem. And so I try to share this with mentees and folks that I'm coaching for career growth. It's what I call a high confidence, high humility strategy. Be unwaveringly confident in the thing you know best. There's a reason you're at the table. Whatever that reason is, double down on it. You don't have to know everything. You just have to know the thing you know best and be unapologetic about how great you are in that thing. That's the high confidence. And when you have that security in what you can do best, it's okay to not know the rest. It's okay to be totally novice in lots of other things. And that doesn't make you stupid. It doesn't make you a bad fit, because the reason you're there is that thing you have that confidence in. And so when you can do those two things, you can be really strong without being overly sort of cocky, but you can be really humble and open to learning. And I think that balance, although it seems kind of obvious, has helped me defeat imposter syndrome in a lot of different situations.
Yeah, the movie you play in your head can sometimes be so self-limiting. I know in my company we use a phrase a lot. They tell us to act as if. Mm-hmm. Act as if. Act as if you have the knowledge, you have the experience. But be genuine about it. Be humble enough to say, I don't have all the answers, but I have a lot of experiences in my life that I bring to the surface in a very genuine way that I can provide value
Right.
to you. So that confidence goes a long way. So that's a great recognition and a great realization to kind of carry through your career and maybe pass on to other folks you're mentoring along the way. Talking about education, we understand at some point you went back to school and did some more schooling. Tell us the whole thought process there and what happened.
I had a wonderful mentor and leader at my previous company who I'm still close with now. And he said to me, I think you need to go back to grad school and get an MBA. Meanwhile, my dad's going, I've been telling you this for 15 years. But when when you hear it from someone else, it sort of hits a little different. And I said, well, I'm hiring people with advanced degrees. Is this really going to be worth my time? And he was very candid with me and said, for you to reach your potential, you have to make yourself so credentialed that no one can deny you entry. And so you really have to go and get those credentials so that you can demand a seat at the table and no one can take that away from you. I thought, especially in the financial services industry, that was pretty apt advice. So I was fortunate enough to go to MIT's Sloan School of Management. I started in 2020. We really thought that pandemic was going to be 2 weeks. And turned out it was more like 2 years.
Right.
And so I started in September of 2020. But MIT was doing all of the PCR testing for the Broad Institute. So we had this amazing opportunity to actually be in person because we were getting all of the testing needed. And so that was a 2-year program, probably one of the best decisions I've ever made in my entire life. It continues to pay dividends. It helped me get the role I'm in now. I have this unbelievable adult friend group that's really hard to find, and as you get older, that have really similar interests but different backgrounds. We do a lot of the travel together, and I think differently. And that was probably the biggest payoff from going through that program.
Well, that's terrific. What a great place to go to school under kind of unusual circumstances.
Very.
But it all worked out.
I think better. We were so committed to getting the best experience possible that we fought really hard to be close through the pandemic and in spite of the pandemic. And I think it actually made us closer than a lot of other graduating years.
Yeah. So without being too specific, when you think about the next 10 or 20 years of your career, what are some of the general thoughts and goals that you have in terms of, if you were to reflect back 20 years from now, what would make you feel good about the work you had done?
I am doing more and more of the type of work I love to do as my career continues to evolve. So I love the work. I love helping clients of all types, whether it's at a retail store, in a bank, or with their long-term finances. But what I really love is mentorship because the multiplier effect is huge. I love leading teams. I can help one person at a time, but if I can help a teammate develop, then they can help 10 people. Great, now I'm helping you more. If I can help a leader develop a team, and so on and so on. And so I'm doing much more mentorship of others as a leader of leaders. That's sort of my day job. But the best parts of my role are when people reach out to me and say, hey, could I meet with you and just talk about my goals? And so I think the next 10 years, the slice of the pie of my time that will be consumed by helping others grow their careers will just get bigger and bigger. And that excites me. I see that as a huge opportunity, responsibility. And so in turn, I then have to keep going and getting more information, education, keep gathering more so I can spread more.
Well, it sounds like helping people really brings you joy. On that topic, we know you're active with the Big Brother, Big Sister organization, which maybe ties in, obviously, with that. Can you tell us a little bit about why that's so important to you?
Yes, I could do 30 minutes just talking about my little. She's amazing. I joined Big Sisters of Boston through work at the time. There was a luncheon and they said the high school graduation rate for Boston girls was somewhere in the high 60%, but girls with a big sister was 92%. And that was astonishing to me, that you could have that impact on a person. If I could do that for one person, that was worthwhile. But you have to sign up for a year. You commit for a full year when you do Big Brothers and Big Sisters. And I remember driving to my first meeting going, what have I done? What have I bitten off? And they were such a perfect matchmaking organization. My little lived in Beverly, now lives in Gloucester. She is like my mini-me. I mean, I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they figured out that we were so perfectly matched. She was 9 when we started hanging out, and she is going to be 18 in November.
Oh, goodness.
And it's incredible. She's working part-time. She's getting ready to go to college. She wants to be a vet. She's going to be a vet. That girl has never missed a goal. And she's made a big difference on my life, and I hope that I've had a similar impact on hers. I love broad impact, but boy, being in Big Sisters and Big Brothers is that very deep impact that you get to have over a long period of time, and there's no substitute for that.
That's terrific.
I'm sure you've made a huge impact, and your dad's going to kill me for saying this, and it's okay. I think I can take him. But I want to work on your gubernatorial campaign when you decide to move in that direction. And then, that, of course, that's just a stepping stone to the White House. But I think that, yeah, I think that that's we need to just discuss that even further. So, and I think that's just about wrapping us up here, Mike. If my thought process is correct, and as you know, I'm wrong more often than I'm right. But we're going to wrap up anyway. But I just want to take this opportunity, Alan, to thank you for joining us here. I've known Mom and Dad for many, many, many years. I got an opportunity to get to know you a little bit some years ago, and your family is just amazing.
Well,
and now bringing Joe aboard and adding to that is just an awesome, awesome thing. So I heard about the recent garage clean out that Joe kind of handled and managed, and seemed to be a very successful operation.
He's a great guy.
Sounds like he's a keeper.
He is a keeper.
Yeah.
Well, my parents already made it clear they're keeping him, no matter what.
Oh, okay. So he's got the two Hanley thumbs
yes,
up.
yes.
That's important because your dad doesn't welcome everybody aboard.
He's a tough crowd.
Yeah,
For sure.
They raised the bar pretty high.
Not so much, Mom. She's not so tough. She's awesome. So with that, thank you for joining us, Beverly Rotary Club. And for more information about all the great things that we do and all the great interviews that we've had over the past couple of years, please visit our website, BeverlyRotaryClub.com. And any questions or concerns or issues, we meet every Thursday for lunch at the Damersport Yacht Club. Come on down, come as our guest, and learn more about us. Thank you so much for joining us.